Hello and welcome to Kidder Farms. We're back with another episode of Farmville, North Carolina, and today we're finally going to say goodbye to the pumps and hoses equipment that we have here. I think we've been using it for a little while here. It's been fun to play around with, but we've had so many struggles with it that I don't know, I'm getting a little fed up. And we've got an exciting new mod from 46 Mods. Jono over at 46 Mods released finally his Hool Tinker Pack update. So we're going to try that out today and see how it goes. So first thing we're going to do is sell off this equipment. I already returned the leased pump and the 8110 that was driving that. I think we are going to try and get our money back here for the hose that's all rolled up right now. So I'm going to just sneak this guy on out of the shed here. I think there's an option to unload from that reel and it'll turn it back into a pallet, which should ideally show up in the store menu and be able to be sold. So let's give that a shot here real quick. If we just take a look here, L to unload the hose, drop this right back off. There we go, right here under pallets. We're gonna go ahead and sell this. And getting rid of the other two pieces of equipment we have there, we're back up to $56,000. Now we've got quite a loan out right now. That's all right, we're gonna ignore that for the time being. And we're gonna see what we can do about picking up a slurry tanker here. So let me just park this tractor back in the shed, and as usual I like to put my spawning spot right over here, so we're gonna make sure that that's set. And if we come in here under slurry tankers, we can see in the store interface here, if we go past the pumps and hoses stuff, that we've got all of these Hool tankers here. Now it starts off pretty small here at 3,850 gallons, and it goes all the way up here to 9,500 gallons. Now these are pretty big tanks with four wheels here. So we got the 4-axle, the 3-axle, and the 2-axle variants. We did just get that big Allis-Chalmers, so I'm thinking right here we should hopefully be able to pull this. It says it only requires 180 horse. I'm thinking if we got all the way up into this, that might be a little bit of a struggle. The smaller ones are 100 horse, so I think we should be able to handle this one. We're going to take the 7300 and this first configuration option here. I do want to use the, we always called them injectors, incorporators. This is going to be the style we go for. I think 8 is the biggest, so we're going to go ahead and go up to 8 of those. I do like the Firestone tires. There's a few different options on tires here depending on what style you want to see. So we're going to go ahead and stick with these Firestones. There's a bunch of different options for the tanks. We're going to go with the standard style here. I don't think I'm going to take any of the filling hole configs. We don't have a lot of money, you know. We're gonna think this through. I should probably just go grab some more money before we configure this all. So we're at 610 as a loan right now. I'm gonna go ahead and take out all the way up to 100 just to make sure we've got the money for this. I'm not gonna go for the extra lights. The side ladder kind of looks cool. Fenders, I'm probably going to skip. Light caps, that would be back here. Those look pretty snazzy, but I think we'll skip those. The brake system, wow, $7,000. We're going to say no and see how hard that is. And then we've got the manure sensing thing, which is going to play with precision farming here. Man, is that expensive, but this is supposed to make it so that it applies the manure at an even level. So I'm kind of tempted to actually pick this up. It's $10,000, almost $11,000. We're going to go for it. We've got enough money to buy this. This is going to be a good long-term investment for us. We've got a lot of slurry and a lot of fields that we can use this for. So let's go ahead and jump over here. We're going to get this big Allis-Chalmers fired up. It does have a PTO on it, so this should work just fine for what we're trying to do. We're going to jump in cab here. I don't think I've been in cab in this since we got it. I like when the levers and everything move here on the tractor as we shift and move and stuff. So this interior is pretty well done. Definitely digging this. First time you look around in a tractor after going in person, it's always just a smidge choppy. That's a wonderful farm sim feature. And we're going to get backed up here now. 46 Mods also released a couple of additional mods that kind of went along with this pack. There's a pump for pumping slurry into it, as well as a external slurry pit that you can place near your animal pens. But I don't think you need it. I think we can still just pull right over here and load this up the normal way. There we go. Nothing to it. That's going to hold quite a bit here. If we come back into our animal menu, we had 160 something in here before we did that. So we're holding quite a few liters, that whole liters to gallons conversion here. And oh, can we feel it pulling now? So that's really cool. I love that the back wheels are turning there on the slurry tank. Everything looks great with this mod so far. I can't wait to get it in the ground and see how this is going to work out. But this tractor does seem to be pulling it pretty good. I'll love to see what this works like once we get these incorporators in the ground. I don't think it's going to add a lot of drag because we're not going too far in. But this thing is pretty narrow as far as a working area is concerned. So I'm trying to think. I don't know if we would do the headlands first realistically or not. I think I am going to just do some headlands here just to see how it works. I'm going to go ahead and drop this thing into the ground here. And I'm going to take advantage of a GPS as long as we're here. See if we can get an AB line going, and we'll jump in here and do just a couple of things here. Now, my performance overlay for the NVIDIA thing just came in on my screen. I've got a new computer here that I'm working with, and some of the settings are throwing me off a little bit. I should have turned a little bit earlier there, but I think we've got this. I don't know that I'd actually turn with the incorporators down in the ground necessarily. I think what I'm going to do is actually raise this up. We're going to back up and try this again. Try and do another headland pass here. I do like that we're knocking down the stalks and stuff and the weeds with this. This is pretty cool. I think this is counting kind of like a cultivator pass or something maybe. We'll get GPS going in here, see if it can figure out where I need to be. The width is way off on this. Let's see if I can... something is interfering with my width settings here. I have a key that's supposed to do this for me, but unfortunately that key is being intercepted by something else. So let's just go into GPS here, and I'm going to set the auto width here. That's going to work a lot better for us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. We're going to spin around and try this again real quick. I will have to sort out my settings before next time. I know exactly what's causing that issue. I just need to get everything adjusted here. The joys of getting a new computer up and running. If you tried to dial in for Tuesday's live stream, you unfortunately realized that that didn't work out so well either for me. I started the live stream, and literally 10 seconds into it, my computer blue screened, and I spent the bulk of the day rebuilding my PC here today. So we're getting this episode recorded pretty late at this point. It looks like we've got GPS running without a problem here, and we are putting the slurry on pretty fast. We're not using up too much. We've got the automatic thing going on here on our slurry, which is working out for us pretty good, and we're not burning through it too fast. So we're going to make pretty good progress. I think we'll actually be able to take a tank out to some of these smaller fields and make enough progress on it where I don't feel like it's a complete waste driving back and forth. I was a little bit worried that a tank would be like one pass down the field and then we'd be kind of left wondering how we're going to get more slurry out to the field there. But this tank is holding a decent amount here. So I'm feeling pretty good about using this to go out and hit those smaller fields that are a little bit further away from the farm. If I can do 3 rounds on this larger field on the headlands here and only be at, you know, probably about 75% by the time we get to the end, yeah, we're going to be in a good spot. And this tractor is just perfect for doing this. If I turn on my precision farming map here, I am noticing that my nitrogen levels seem a little bit odd here, but I think that's partially because I was driving around with the slurry spreader on, and it still pumps slurry out even when the injectors are raised out of the ground. So I think that might actually be my bad. We'll have to revisit that at some point. We'll see how the next few passes go here if I pay a little bit more attention. I'm not used to having such a narrow implement behind me, so I'm going to try and get this thing going. There we go. We'll have to clean up that corner a little bit better as we get over there on the next pass or something, but for right now, this seems to be working pretty good. Given how long this tanker is, I think running 4 passes for our headland is probably going to be a good idea for us. I'll probably try to sneak right back in here behind the bins, see how this works out. We're probably going to have a little bit left over there. That's all right. Yeah, I got a couple of rows left over there. Oh, this thing is just working so good. I'm so excited that this came out at the perfect timing when we had a whole bunch of slurry spreading to do here. We've got not only this field, which is our second biggest field, but we've got 2 other fields that we need to go and apply some nitrogen to before we get into the planting season here, which is coming up soon. I think actually this is the last month, I think the next month, and we'll be able to start planting. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting our crops back into the ground. Jump in cab here a little bit, see if we can manage to line this thing up. Now it's pretty hard to actually see where those injectors are without mirrors, so I guess we are going to have to jump back out of cab here. I was hoping I could actually just run this from in cab for a little bit. I'm sure once I get on the GPS line here, it won't matter much. But not being able to actually see the injectors is slightly problematic, and my mirrors are not lined up in a very useful orientation right now. I should probably get that realistic cab view mod, I think it's called, something like that, where you can actually lean your character to different directions as you look around. That would be, I think, very helpful. Whoops, we don't want to be heading out onto the road with this rig. I don't think that's going to work out too well for us. I'm going to go ahead and try and squeeze back into the corner here. We'll take the headlands off on this end as well to get ourselves all set up for doing these longer up-down rows. Something like that ought to work. I just set an AB line, but I think I'm going to set another one if I'm going to do all of the headland passes on this end real quick, just to keep us going on the straight and narrow. And luckily the driveway's a little bit flatter here, so I can actually drive across and spin around. I think it's going to be just a little bit easier than trying to back up with all these trees and everything in the way. Oops, we're dropping manure on the driveway. That's probably not a great idea. It does look like my work area and my GPS overlap a little bit, so I'm getting a double application there of the manure according to the precision farming window. So I get that little strip that's turning green here in the middle, so I don't know if that's a good thing. With how precision farming works, I think there is such a concept as over-fertilizing, so I might need to tweak my working zone a little bit here. So just looking at this, I think what we're going to do is increase the width maybe, oops, just a couple points here and see if that changes anything. Maybe it won't, maybe it will, we'll see. It's definitely not a fast process here. I mean, we're not going a very fast, 9 to 10 miles an hour, right on the edge there a little bit. But we are getting our slurry into the ground, which is good. And really, this thing is probably about as wide as the other tool we were using, so we're probably applying just about as fast. Now I'm seeing that we're still overlapping a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and I want to say I'm going to take this up to 20 feet. Maybe I'll do 1998. And let's see how this does now. Still a little bit of overlap, but I'm liking where the line is a lot better. I think we're going to leave it here and just run with it. Now I am noticing we're getting a much more even distribution no matter which direction we're driving as far as how much nitrogen's being put on. So I think that's the John Deere sensors that we added on there for $10,000 that's given us that nice even spread here compared to what we had before. Gotta watch these cars. I'm getting a little bit close to the road there. And that's our 4 passes on this end. I think that's more than enough for turning around. Let's go ahead and see if we can spin back into this same track. Oh, that's right. We're going to have to make a new track. That's all right. We'll go ahead and get that sorted out. Somewhere right around here. And I'm going to open this up. I just want to make sure we are using automatic application rates. Here we go. This is working out quite a bit better. And you can see here that whole area where I just turned around and forgot to turn off the spreader because I just raised it up. I didn't actually turn off the spreading. That's all green down there at the bottom of the map now. So we got a bit of excess in the corner there as I was turning around. So that's something we have to definitely pay more attention to in the future. I'm not really happy with the overlapping that we're doing here still. So I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out how to keep expanding this work area on the GPS so we're not quite overlapping so much. I honestly kind of figured that the precision farming automatic application rate system would prevent me from doing that, but I guess not. There we go. I think we've finally gotten the width sorted out there. I don't see an overlapping row as we're coming back down here, so that's looking a lot better. We'll see if we skip any on the other way back up, but I think we've got it. I think this is going to work perfectly. And yeah, I mean, we're putting down a good amount here, and then this is going to balance well with following up with the planter. When we come back out, we'll put some more fertilizer down as we're planting. And I really think we've got this all worked out. I'm curious to see how much slurry we end up using doing the remaining fields that we have. It looks like we are overlapping ever so slightly on the way back up the field, though. Let's see if I can up this a little bit more. We'll try that. We'll see if it happens on the next round. I don't want to overcorrect because it might make it so that I'm not putting it down on the way, the other way too. It's always hard when you're adjusting these things. It doesn't perfectly get the widths down, and you have to adjust it yourself. You don't want to do it incorrectly. Oh, and we left the slurry on again. That's something that I wish when I raised it up it would stop spreading slurry for us for the turnaround there. I've just got to remember to turn that off. We're getting a little too much on our end rows here, which is probably going to hurt our yields. I think if you over apply nitrogen, it actually does tamp down the yields on the other end of the extreme there. There is such a thing as too much fertilizer. Oh, and we have officially run out of our manure here, so we're gonna fold this guy right back up and go top off this tank again. We're gonna do a little bit better job of paying attention here. Now I guess we could just look at the side. That's 6,100. Oh, that's Canadian gallons. That must be a different unit of gallon measurement here. It's definitely not liters. So we'll just zip over here. We'll fill this up. We'll see what the liters in the pen are now, and then we'll check again after we empty. So we got 142,925, and now we're at 115,175. So that's 27, almost 28K liters. Not too shabby considering we got a pretty good sized chunk of that field done there. We've definitely got enough slurry to finish the rest of our fields off. It is going to take a bit to get out to some of those other fields with this tractor. We're barreling along here at a whole 19 miles an hour. I am going to try and pick up these 2 rows real quick, and I'm just curious what happens if this thing handles precision farming better and doesn't spread on all of the sides, or if we're going to get slurry everywhere with this. So let's go ahead and see. Oh yeah, we're applying excess slurry everywhere, so we probably don't want to do a bunch of that. I mean, corn uses a lot of nitrogen, so we'd actually probably be okay with applying a second level, but just for our purposes, I don't want to overdo it right now. And we did run out of slurry somewhere halfway up the field here, so I am going to just head back up the other way and make sure we cover this section here. There we go. Looks like we got it. We don't want to over apply. And the next big test that I always like to do when I get a new mod, let me get going down the GPS track here, is I want to see if it works with a hired worker. So I'm going to make sure we're going on the straight and narrow, and then we're going to disable our GPS and hit the hired helper, and let's see what happens. Now, I expect this to work fairly well. 46 Mods has always done a great job with the stuff that they've released. I've never really had too many problems with the mods that they've released, so I'm expecting we'll get to the end and this is going to turn around just fine. Oh, it's going to keep going because we're going to put all kinds of nitrogen on. That's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping as soon as it got to the spot that we already did that we'd turn around. At least it handled turning it off and raising it up correctly. But, I mean, we'll let him get started again here just to make sure everything works, but given that we're going to overlap back onto our headlands like this, I'm not sure I really want to let the hired worker go here. I think we're going to take back over of our own accord and make sure we're not over applying in all those spots. And now I'm just curious to see how far we can get on a full tank now that we're doing the up-down rows. Hopefully we'll make quite a bit of progress here. And this won't take too terribly long. I was kind of hoping that the hired helper would be able to handle that and not make a mess on the end rows, just to give us the option to go do something else if we ever needed to, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. I could see on a larger farm setup definitely getting the biggest tank option and having a few of these running at a time, I'm kind of curious to see how well this thing would work on course play. I haven't actually had an opportunity to try that yet. Maybe on one of these other fields we'll give course play a try, see how it works. It's always kind of hard to introduce course play into the mix after you're already halfway through a field, so we'll just be doing this our own, I think, for the rest of this field. But it's always something that intrigues me as well with some of these new mods, especially ones with semi-unique, not overly unique, but semi-unique setups like this. I feel like the combination of a long implement like this tanker and an articulated tractor could lead to some interesting behaviors on course play's part. We're getting a little bit better at turning around here, getting right back into the track with this thing. And I think, you know, in real life as well, the thing to remember is, like, I don't know how exact you get with spreading slurry with a big tanker like this. I think the goal is to get it done as fast as possible. You're going to be making a lot of trips, and it's not the fastest job in the world, so I want to be getting it into the field as fast as I can and getting back and getting another tank and keeping things moving. So yeah, I could probably use to keep adjusting my working widths a little bit here. Looks like there's still some overlap. We're gonna give this a shot in the arm up to maybe 20.5. Let's see what that looks like. We're missing a smidge now, but I'm wondering how much of that is just the fact that I did it mid-track. So let's turn back into the next track and see what this looks like. Because we're not missing any here alongside this part, so... And in fact, it still shows as we're overlapping on the map. Interesting. Now here we're not overlapping on the map, but I'm clearly missing quite a bit from a tillage perspective there. We'll clean that up when we come back with the planter, obviously, but it's gonna look a little bit unfortunate for the time being. That's all right. I think future rounds are gonna look just a little bit better. Yeah, I think we might have finally nailed it. We'll see on the next round here. Although we're missing a spot on tillage and still showing as having an overlap stripe on the mini map here, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I feel like this thing is just confused at this point. Precision farming's always been a little bit finicky with some of this kind of stuff. Oops, I left the slurry on the turnaround again. We're wasting so much slurry when I do that. So yeah, we're still overlapping, even though it doesn't look like we should be. It's gotta be 21. We'll go all the way up to 21. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, even at 21, we're overlapping a bit on that same area. Oh well. I think we're gonna leave it at 21. I don't want to push it too much further. We do have several strips out here in the field from our experimentation now that's gonna look terrible and irk me for quite some time. We might have to run out here with the disc just to knock these weeds down and not have to look at them until we go planting. I don't know. But yeah, everything seems to be working out pretty good here with this slurry spreader. We're getting close to the end of this next tank. I think I'll make one more pass. I don't know if I'll make the whole round though. I guess I should have thought about that, but it seems like a waste to drive all the way over to the tank and when we still had 12% in here. So I think we're gonna try and make a full round. I guess I haven't been paying that much attention to how much we use each pass. We're probably gonna make it back. I don't know. We'll definitely finish this field though with one more tank. we don't have that much of the field left. So it's good to know that this field is only, would this be 3 tanks total then? And quite honestly, we've wasted so much slurry leaving the tanker on when we were turning around. So if we take that into account, we'd probably have quite a bit more. We wouldn't be struggling getting to the end, that's for sure. I don't think that it's wasted per se, though. I think even these green areas, since we are running a corn crop over and over again, is going to be just fine. I know corn is one of the highest nitrogen use crops that we have in the game. And we're not going to make it. Oh, look at that. Almost. That's all right. We'll clean that little bit up when we get back here with the next tank. But yeah, I think next episode we're going to have to test this with course play and maybe auto drive. I think I can combine the two and have it do the refill course on its own. We've got plenty of room down here to have it just drive in and refill the tank and head back out to the field. So I would be very curious to see how well we could get the combination of those two things set up. It'd be real slick if you could just set this guy off on the job and have him go at it, especially because it's so slow. It'd be nice if we could have this guy out spreading slurry while we got the planter out and going and started putting seed into some of these fields here. So I think that'll be the plan next episode, is to try that out, see if we can get this guy working with some automation, and then we'll be able to really knock out some of our last spring jobs here. I'd love to get the corn back into the ground on the farm here, get that growing. We are gonna need to think about food again here at some point. We've got a bit in our animal pens. If we look, I mean, we're sitting in a pretty good spot, but as these hogs keep growing, we're gonna run out quick. And I'd really like to see these get up over 1,000, so we're gonna wait till the next reproduction cycle to consider selling those hogs off. But we're making a fair amount of money per batch of hogs, and so we just got to keep them going for a few more months here, and I think we're gonna be in a really good spot financially. All right, so I have the cultivator create fields mod on here. I was curious if the allow create fields meant that's how it was set up, or I needed to push the button to turn that on. So I'm so glad I'm not tearing up my grass right now. Sometimes it's just easier to let precision farming do its thing here, and I didn't want to offset the other way because we'd be putting on double into the middle of the field there. So this is going to work out the best, even though realistically I probably wouldn't have driven this thing through my yard with the shanks down. We've got just a couple more passes here. We're just about there. And we've still got over half a tank left, which is right about where I thought we'd be. So this is working out awesome. 3 tanks for a field this size doesn't feel too cumbersome. I'm glad we didn't get the bigger tank, actually. I think that would have felt a little bit too big for this setup. I think this tractor could probably handle pulling the bigger tank if we wanted to, but for the size of our farm and the amount of work this has taken, I actually like this size. I think I made the right call by not over purchasing here. I have a tendency sometimes to buy equipment that's way too big for what we're trying to do. But in this case, I think this was perfect sized for us. And this new tractor, I'm glad I got a chance to get out here with this Alice Chalmers as well and do something with it. We just bought this, I think, in the previous episode here, and we haven't had anything to do with it yet. Now, this tanker's getting quite dirty quite fast, so I think before we jump into doing these other fields and whatnot, we'll give this a wash real quick. And as I said, I think we're gonna save it for next episode. We will try and set up some automation, some course play, maybe some auto drive, and get this guy going out in the fields a little bit further away from the house. And so we'll jump into all of that next episode. Again, another huge shout out to 46 Mods, Jono over at 46 Mods, for putting together this awesome tanker. This is something I've been looking forward to for a real long time. Having something with the incorporators here on the back like this, I just love it. We're going to get a lot of use out of this in our series. This has definitely motivated me to kind of keep going here with our hogs and get some stuff done, get some more opportunities to use this equipment out in the field. I would love to now get into maybe some larger scale stuff, especially if this works with automation. So that's really our true test next time, is to see how well this works with automation. If it does, I could see us getting into some larger scale farms and running multiple of these and having them come by and fill up and such. So I don't know. I'm excited. This has been a lot of fun for me today. And yeah, we'll catch you next episode. So for some fun with trying to get this automated. That's all for today. Kedrick out. The combination of the power lines and this articulated tractor and the trailer having its own steering is adding up to make backing up kind of interesting at the moment. So bear with me for a moment as I figure out how to drive all over again.